At the end of the day, I'm here to help entrepreneurs design brands that guide them to seven-figure success. What's shaking, everybody? Welcome to another Brand Doctor not podcast. It's a live stream. I forgot. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another live stream show. It's your boy, Henry Kaminski Jr., the Brand Doctor. And today we're going to be talking about engagement strategies on social media to help you attract qualified clients. And, there's a ton of ways you can do this. I have 5 ways that I'm going to share with you today that I think will help you tremendously get some structure around the time that you spend on social media, and you begin to become more intentional with the time that you spend on different platforms. Clubhouse is huge right now. So, people are spending 18-hour days on the damn thing. And, they got businesses to run and so on and so forth. And, it could get out of hand very, very quickly. Or you've been on social media for a while and you have some structure, but you're not really getting the results that you're looking for. The growth isn't there. The engagement isn't there. The revenues or the ROI isn't there. So I want to speak to all of that today, give you some practical things that you could execute immediately, and take some questions as well from the live audience. So I always like to keep these interactive, and no matter what platform you're on, drop some questions, drop some comments. I'm here for you guys for the next 30 minutes or so to help you get through some of this stuff, because when you don't have any guidance, it could become a real, I'm just going to say it, shit show, right? And man, I wish I had the guidance that I have now, back when I was trying to scale my business and really position myself as a thought leader on social. And so let's dive into this. But before we dive in, here's a quick little message. All right, guys. Tip number 1 when it comes to building engagement on social media to attract quality clients. Ready? I hope you're sitting down. This is going to be mind-blowing. How about you just start asking some questions? It's that simple, guys. It's that simple. I'll never forget this. I forget who said it. The gurus have been throwing this quote around for years, but there's a reason why they call it social media, because they want you to be social on it, right? It cannot be a one-way conversation. You have to create the dialogue. And that's why I think Clubhouse is so fantastic, is because you have the voice component and you have dialogue. When you open up a room and people come up and you now can communicate with you. I'm going to share with you an interesting story that happened yesterday on Clubhouse. So Grant Cardone was in the room. I happened to pop in, and it was about social media strategies and stuff like that. And I heard him saying, like, I don't have any, tricks or tips about social media. He's like, I just get on there and do it. Right. And people were, going around saying, how much they like him and things like that. And here's me. I jump up and I say, can I share some honesty with you? And I said, Grant, I've been following, you've been on my radar for years. I bought a couple of your books years ago, and the 10X books was great, and a couple other books. But when I saw you on social media, there was something not right. I couldn't align with your values. I just, something was off. I couldn't connect. There was something disingenuous that I felt inside, and I just stopped following you. And it wasn't until I started to see you on Clubhouse and hear you on Clubhouse that I started to say to myself, wow, like this guy's pretty normal, if you will. I mean, he comes across on his social media like this tough ass and like he doesn't care and like he's all out for himself and he's like, you know, that capitalist, like and there's nothing wrong with capitalists. Listen, I'm an entrepreneur. Like I get it. But he said, you know what, Henry? He's like, that's the problem with social media. It's just one way. It's just one way. There's not a two-way dialogue. And he's like, that's why I come on this platform, because I love that you can access me now, which I thought was really cool. So I was like, Grant, keep doing what you're doing, man. Like, I have a different perspective of you now, and I appreciate it. And I've been in rooms where people are asking him direct questions and things like that. And he's very honest with his answers, and just like me. And that's something that I can connect with. That's something that really rings a bell for me. The way he answers them, the way he asks questions to people, because he knows that he's not a know-it-all either. He doesn't come across that in his videos, especially back then. Right. And so with that said, it's that simple. Some of my best performing posts on Instagram, Facebook, inside of my Facebook group. Guys, if you're not part of my Facebook group, go sign up right now. If you just type in the Brand Doctors Hangout, the room will show up. The room is actually called Industry Experts That Want to Scale from 6 Figures to 7 Figures and Beyond. That's the name of the group. And come check us out over there. We're always dropping bombs and asking questions and doing trainings and stuff. So feel free to come by. Open arms. It's free. I want to learn from you as much as you want to learn from me. Believe me when I tell you. But that has been the best performing posts on social, is just asking questions. And I'll give you another tool to use. Like a big shout out to Travis Brown. He owns a company called poddex.com. And it's now he's got an app that's super cool. You download the app and it gives you podcast questions. It gives you podcast episode ideas. So I'm constantly diving into that damn app, because there's thousands of questions that are so off the wall that a lot of podcast guests don't typically get. And if you listen to my Brand Doctor podcast, at least the recent episodes, you hear me asking those questions now, which brings in a completely different light of conversation and feel and vibe of each episode now. So, big shout out to Travis. He was on the show too. Go check out that episode. He dropped some real bombs when it comes to podcasting and how to do it, right. So asking questions is huge, man, because you're going to get answers that are going to help you tremendously post future content. Big shout out to Joshua Easter here. He's throwing out the Facebook group page. Yeah, it's facebook.com/groups or /groups/ the Brand Doctor Hangout. You can see it on the screen here. Thanks, Joshua. But posting polls inside your Instagram stories, another way of increasing engagement. And Instagram has been very vocal with this, especially when they come out with a new feature. They really want you to use it, and they encourage users to use it. That's why Instagram Reels are getting tremendous reach now, and IG Stories, IGTV, when that first came out, and it still gets a tremendous amount of reach. If you want to post some longer form content, one trick there though, I want to point out, on your IGTVs, I notice a sweet spot. The real long ones, they don't get a lot of love. The ones that are about a minute 50, about a minute and a half to maybe 3 minutes, those ones get a lot of views. So if you want to put out a piece of content that's a little bit more longer form, but you're looking for some parameters, that's a parameter that I would dive into, because I've noticed my my reach go crazy on IGTVs when they're around the 1.5 to 3 minute mark. All right. So asking questions, it's huge. It's huge, right? You want to create a dialogue with your audience. That's why I love live streaming. And I feature Joshua Easter every time he posts something, or if somebody poses a question, which I, again, encourage you guys. We're live here for the next 15 minutes or so. Make sure you drop something down here. If you got a question or a comment. Good morning, April. How are you? Welcome back. She was here yesterday. All right. So the other thing that I want you to do is, when it comes to engagement and creating engagement on social media, is I want you to invoke expression, right? I posted an IGTV that I reposted today, right? It's Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather, and Grant Cardone, and Grant's interviewing Mayweather and talking and asking him about how he spent $18 million on a watch and what that was all about, right? And I posed the question in the comments, like, what does money mean to you? And what is your relationship with money? I didn't have such a great relationship with money in the beginning. If you guys, are following me for some time, like, I struggled tremendously with financial intelligence when I first started my business. I didn't have it. I spent every buck, every penny I made, and I couldn't afford to not work because I just spent and spent and spent, right? But now I have a much different relationship with money, and I had to learn the hard way. What are you going to do? But at least I did. Now I have a story to tell, right? But that expression, so the comments, I didn't get a chance to go back. I've been on calls all morning, but when I go back into that Instagram post, people are going to share and express their feelings about money. And that's going to enlighten me. That's going to keep me relevant. And it's going to keep me excited about bonding that connection with my audience. It's huge, right? Bob, here's a great question. Let's see what he's got going on here. How do we make social media marketing manageable when we run a business? Social could be a full-time job if we follow the Gary Vee principle of 60 social media posts a day. Yeah, Bob, that's a great question. And, I've been handling a lot of my social media now by myself for a long time. And I just had my team meeting on Monday morning this week. And I had said to them, we're getting to the point where I need my admin help to come in and systemize some of this stuff, because, we have clients that are coming in. We have me on Clubhouse being interviewed and being paneled on these panels. And, I'm getting spread too thin. And when that happens, right, what happens? The quality of service goes down. So we're 5 exits ahead of that, So we have the admin in place. We have the systems in place. But what's going to eventually happen when you feel like it's becoming a job, that's when you get the virtual assistants, or you get the in-house team involved, and you systemize it out and you plug it in. So yes, you will eventually want a social media team involved to post the content, schedule the content, manage the content. For example, once my Facebook group gets to a certain size, we're going to have an admin from my team come in and manage the content, manage the experience. So you'll feel it. You'll definitely feel it. And that's when you have to just take that gut feeling and say, okay, let's insert an admin. Let's get some virtual assistants. And I have access to virtual assistants that are really, really good. My company that I've been using has, again, they've been with me for 6+ years at this point, and they're just phenomenal. So, yeah, it's not so much quantity, Bob. Like Gary Vee says, 60 posts a day and not so much quantity, it's quality. Because and that goes with followers too. Like it's not about the how many followers you have. Because you can have 1 million followers and 80% of them are not your ideal client, and you know your engagement's going to show that, because they're not going to be responding, they're not going to be liking, they're going to be sharing, they're not going to be commenting, and that's really sort of embarrassing, right? So it's quality. It's quality. So if you have a quality following with quality content, the algorithms on social media are going to pick up on that, and they're going to put your content out in front of more people, and you're going to grow organically. And boom, that's what's going to catch fire. So Rob Elling says, do you design all your pieces? I find it impossible to outsource this part because man, that's all I got in the in the chat there, Bob. So if you want to continue writing, let me know. So Rob, there's two things that I still do, because I still have an itch for design, and I love to just keep my skill set sharp. So my podcast thumbnails, and like this thumbnail here. So my podcast thumbnails and this thumbnail here are the designs that I still do personally, just because I have the time and it's fun and I really enjoy it. But the majority of the design work from Unique Designz, whether it be client work or work for for my brand, it's done by my in-house team. It's impossible to outsource this part. Yeah. I feel you on that to a degree. And this is where I just had a conversation with a friend of mine who I reconnected with recently. He's having struggles with his brand agency and the design company that he hired to do his website and stuff. And here's my opinion on that. When you don't have a strong brand strategy, when you don't have strong brand guidelines, when you don't have strong brand messaging, it's hard to get somebody to come in and like expect to deliver all of that without having some sort of sit down of discovery with you. Here's what Bob says. Because no one designs like I design. And when I did outsource, clients complain and say, I want your designs. Oh, Rob, I've been there, buddy, dude. I've been there 1,000 times, Rob. I hear you. So here's how I handled it. And this, I'm speaking from my own experience. I can't speak like this is gospel. So I'll give you my thoughts, right? Then we'll get back on track. I got 3 more pieces I got to share with you before I wrap up. Rob, you're absolutely right. Nobody is going to design like Rob Ellings. So just get it out of your head. Because there's only one Rob Ellings. It's that simple. So you can't expect somebody else to design like you, because they're just not. Like my design team, they're not ever going to design like Henry Kaminski, because I'm Henry Kaminski. Nobody's going to be able to dip into my mind like I dip into my mind and my creativity. So just set that aside. Just understand and give yourself permission to trust that. The second thing is, here's where I believe if you invest in people and you stay patient, which, Rob, I'm telling you right now, is not easy to do. I'm a hot-blooded Italian. Thank you, Mom, for giving me that blood in me. And back in the day, I'm still learning patience, but back in the day, I had less of it. Patience is key. And investing in people is key. And when you put those two together and really do it, commit to it, eventually your team member will get an understanding of what you love, what you hate, what is tolerable, what is intolerable. Like my team knows not to even send me something if it's at this level. They just know, because I've been working with them for 5 years. And I'm not saying you have to work them for 5 years. It took some time. That's where we went through some of those growing pains a few years ago, because they were trying to understand me. I was trying to understand them, but we got through it. And now there's very little revisions that have to go back and forth, because they get me and I get them. And I'm able to articulate what I like and what I don't like in a way that nobody else can. And you know what, Rob? Here's the beauty of it. You're a designer by trade. I'm a designer by trade. We can speak the language. That's a gift, my friend. Our clients, they don't have that gift because they don't have that creative background. They don't have that design background. So we actually have an advantage when we speak to designers, because we can speak the language. So you gotta speak the language. But when you invest in them and you invest in patience, I can promise you, it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out fantastic. But it's just like anything. You have to put in the tools. You have to put in the work. All right, these are some really great questions, guys. I'm gonna keep going with the questions. How do you determine qualified leads for personal brand versus business brand? I guess it depends on the deliverable. It depends on what you're selling. And whether or not they're a good fit for that program, right? That's really all I have for that. You have to put people in certain verticals and make sure that they're coming in. That's why the power of funnel, right? So that's why you want to make sure you have a couple funnels that are bringing the right people into the right path, so they get the experience that they want. April Tobin says, yes, I'm learning patience. Italian and Irish here. Yep, you know it. Bob has a great question here. Do you use a particular tool like Hootsuite to help manage the posting across various social channels? Yes. So Hootsuite is a great platform. I got nothing bad to say about it, but we don't use it. We use Agora, Agora, Pulse, like check your pulse, Pulse, Agora Pulse. And that has been awesome. The user interface on the back end is really easy. The scheduling features are really easy. So we use Agora Pulse, and it's a beaut. It's a beaut. All right. So let's get back to some social media engagement strategies, and we will keep this ball rolling. So ask a bunch of questions and create that dialogue with your team or with your audience. That's going to be huge. Invoke expression. So test them, challenge their assumptions, right? Through social posts, right? I put a post out there yesterday about how people that have big followings, people that have billion-dollar businesses, people that have tons of exits and acquisitions, that doesn't impress me. You know what impresses me? The way you treat people. That's what really impresses me. So I put this out there on social media, and I said, that's the real that I'm looking for. And I'm not here to judge. Who am I to judge? But what I am judging is internally. Do your values align with my values based on what you say and do on social media and how you position yourself and present yourself? And if that is a disconnect for me, I'm just not going to follow you. And the same thing for me. If you don't like my attitude, if you don't like my values, there's no right or wrong here. You just don't follow me. But the bullying I'm seeing on different platforms, that's got to stop. And the BS, it's got to stop. Why? Because I see right through it, and I'm not alone. People could see right through BS. So people want the truth, man. So just give it to them. That's what they're starving for. So just give it to them. And we will love you more and more each day. That has been my rule of thumb. And I would say one of my biggest success stories is when I stopped putting out the bullshit on social media and I started just giving you who I am, what I stand for at its purest form. And a lot of people left, but a lot of people stayed. And I would say more people stayed than left. And That's how I'm living my life. That's how I create my content. That's how I roll. And I think people appreciate that. And that's why I get the clients that I get. So big deal. It's a huge part of social media engagement is just being real and being authentic. And I don't care how many people try to poo-poo that word authentic or authenticity, but that is the most important part of your social media engagement is being authentic. Okay. The other thing is providing incentives, right? Providing incentives. Like, why should people follow you? Why should people follow you? Right. And how are you going to make their life better? Right. So contests are a huge thing, right? Creating little contests or quizzes online. You could do a quiz inside of your IG stories, literally by just swiping up and hitting the quiz thing and having like a 3-question quiz as one story each, right? And you could do a quiz to get info of what they like, what they don't like, what their interests are, what they're not interested in. Or if you want to teach a little bit, you can create a little quiz. The quizzes on Instagram are fantastic. I should be doing more of them. I don't know why I don't, but this is a reminder that I need to do that, right? But it gives them incentive to engage. That's huge, okay? The other thing that we cannot forget to do is make offers. And I'll share with you in a second what I mean by that. But Josh said, being real and authentic is the most important part of your social media engagement. Yeah, it's the true. Yeah, he's abbreviating my name now, HK Jr. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Thanks, Josh. And April says, live up to your word. Yeah, I mean, that's 90% of the battle right there. Deliver on your promise. Deliver on your promise. Okay. So another thing that we want to pay attention to is we can put tons of great content out there and we can build up a tremendous following and we can have raving fans. But if we don't make offers, how are we going to create business? Like, I am very vocal with my intent on social media. I'm here to help. I'm here to serve, but I'm here for business. I am here for business, and I am not going to hide under a rock about that or try to pussyfoot around that or be shy about that. This is how I make my living. I work my ass off behind the scenes, and I'm out here every single day pouring into you guys to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes that I made building the business that I've built over the past 14 years. And that's what I'm passionate about. This isn't work for me, but it is business focused. It is very business focused. And I'm not going to shy away from that. Okay. But offers, let's talk about offers real quick. So this is where we can get into funnels a little bit, but what's your introductory offer? What does that look like? Is it something that your clients even want? Is it free? Is it paid? Do they listen to it? Do they read it? Do they watch it? Then what happens next? Where do you want to take your customers? I put an email about this. I put an email out to my list about this yesterday. You are in control of your customer's journey, and you cannot take for granted that they know where to go. They joined you, they followed you because they want to be led. So you need to lead them. And this is what we're doing for our clients. We help create that customer journey. We help create the vehicle to help them get the results that they want, meaning my client's client. And we do that through building out funnels. That's it. But if you expect your clients or your audience to know what to do or know what to expect without you telling them and guiding them and creating an experience for them, this is branding, guys. Then they're going to go somewhere else where somebody does create that experience for them and makes it simple. I was just telling my wife, or I was actually telling my wife, but I was telling a client this morning about how I just signed up for Stitch Fix. Now that I lost some weight, I always enjoyed fashion. I always enjoyed clothes, but when I was heavy, I didn't, because nothing fit me and I didn't like the way I looked. So I would just buy bullshit because I didn't care. But now I care because I like my look. I feel confident. I feel comfortable in my skin. I lost 25 pounds. And so now I love my clothes again. But COVID and timing and everything else, that, you have a 3.5-year-old son, like, you're not ripping out to the mall and spending an hour and a half, putting an outfit together. So I signed up for Stitch Fix. And I got to tell you, I got my first stitch last Sunday and I bought everything in the box because they didn't make me think. And I filled out my profile, I guess, the way that I should, because my stylist nailed it. And I kept everything in the box. But here's my point. I didn't have to think about it. It was done for me. And the experience was phenomenal. Phenomenal. They took the guesswork of pairing pants and shoes and shirts, and they took that all away. They did it for me. And they created that experience. So I'll be a Stitch Fix member forever, so long as they keep up the great work. But they created that, right? Yeah, April says, I love that. I hate shopping. Yeah, I hate shopping too, right? So again, creating offers. So make sure that you have offers that you're putting out, whether it be discount codes, whether it be a membership. Maybe it's a micro continuity, which is like a $9.99 membership where people buy into that and they forget about it, and they're on your micro continuity program for 3 years because it's $9 and they don't feel it every month, and they you're monetizing your email list like that, right? But membership clubs, challenges, things like that. What are your offers? What free shipping, like, free plus shipping, whatever the case may be. I know that took a little hit because of COVID, but what offers are you delivering, right? It's huge. Joshua says, don't expect your audience to know what to do or expect without you telling them. They will go somewhere else. Make it simple. Yep. That's where strong brand strategy and marketing strategy come in. And then deliver utility, right? I think this is a huge, huge part of it. Like, you gotta make it easy for them, right? You gotta make it easy for them. So I gave you some real actionable things here, right? Anybody could do this now if they wanted to. I gave you the tools like Agora Pulse. I gave you the concepts, or like the IG story quizzes. I gave you the poddex.com, where you can go and download the app, or you can get the physical cards, and you'll have questions for days to ask your clients. Right? You got it. Now what are you going to do with it? That's it. That's the key. Doing. It's not going to happen by itself. It's not going to happen by itself. So you could do it alone, or you could do it with somebody else that knows what the hell they're doing, like I mentioned yesterday. Completely up to you. But at least now you're equipped with some social media engagement strategies that are proven, they're tested, and they work. This is how I grew my Instagram to 150-something thousand people, right? And it's growing rapidly now because I'm really pouring into this, right? But yeah, Joshua Easter says, we got to do the homework. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. It's not going to do it itself. It's not going to do it itself. So drop me some comments. I'm going to wrap this up because I got to grab some lunch, and I have a clubhouse room that I'm hosting at noon. Oh, no. I think it's 1 o'clock. Awesome. So I have some time to breathe. I've been on calls and all morning. Joshua, you're very welcome, man. Henry, love how you are always helping and equipping us. Yeah, that's what I'm here for, bud. I want to help you guys really move the needle inside of your business, because I'll be honest with you. This morning was really emotional for me. I was in front of like 900 people on this clubhouse room. Glenn Lundy runs this room in the morning. It's called Breakfast for Champions. It's a big room, and I was featured as a guest on the show this morning, and we got deep into purpose, and we got deep into why I'm doing what I'm doing, and the stories and the experiences in my life that have gotten me to where I'm at today. And the one thing that I kept reiterating on that call was, we're not going to be here forever, guys. Not going to be here forever. And as I get older, I'm realizing that I'm 40 years young, but man, something hit me when I turned 40 last year. Like, if you don't kick it up a notch, you're going to have some regrets. And I will not regret. I will not. I refuse. So this is why I'm showing up, 2-3 times a day on social media. I don't care. I feel like it is my obligation and duty to do this. And I'm having fun doing it. So this is why, I think this type of work was meant for me. And I'm just blessed that I've been able to find it. And I'm telling you right now, guys, we all have that superpower that we can monetize inside of us. We all have an expertise. We all have a superpower that we can monetize. It all comes down to positioning and how bad you really want to help the people that you want to help. So I'll leave you with that, guys. Rob Ellings, my man, thank you so much. Thanks, Henry. This is golden. Sorry to get off track. No worries. That was a great question, Rob. So I'm happy that we tackled that. I hope you got some value out of the answer that I gave. So have an amazing day, guys. And we have a great podcast interview tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. It is Ben Levitt. Yeah, Ben Levitt. He's got a huge YouTube channel, 45,000 plus people. Awesome guy when it comes to social media. And he's going to be talking with us. We're going to have a real fun conversation about how to break through all the noise on social media. How to break through, whether it be the noise getting thrown at you or you trying to cut through the noise with your social media presence. So this is going to be a real fun episode. Check us tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. Don't forget to sign up or become part of the Facebook group, Industry Experts looking to scale to 6 figures. Industry experts that want to scale from 6 figures to 7 figures and beyond. And have an amazing day, guys. It's a beautiful day here in New Jersey. The sun is out. It's kind of warm, but there's still a lot of snow. But it's a beautiful day, and I wish you all the best. And keep up the great work. And thanks again for watching. Take care.